Chosen one. There is an extraordinary power in silence that the world often overlooks. We live in a culture that values noise, loud voices, bold actions, and immediate reactions. But silence, when used strategically, can hold far more power than any shout or confrontation. In fact, silence can often be the greatest weapon in a battle of wits and strategy. It's not about retreating or remaining passive. It's about choosing when to speak and when to stay silent, knowing that in your stillness there is profound strength and wisdom. There's a unique beauty in this strategic silence. While others may rush to react, your ability to remain composed and restrained allows you to think, plan, and position yourself in a way that gives you the advantage. The power is in the waiting in the calm before the storm, where you can see things clearly and make decisions based on wisdom, not emotion. The lawyer expects the text to act as a weapon against you, but it becomes a mirror that reflects their own weaknesses, their lack of foresight, and their underestimation of your ability to see every move they would make. What was intended to be a devastating blow for your side becomes instead the key to dismantling their entire defense. Their shock is palpable as they realize that the chosen one, in their quiet strategic preparation, had already predicted every argument, every line of attack, and every move they would make. In that moment, chosen one, the difference between being reactive and being proactive becomes clear. The opponent's team is reactive. They are responding emotionally, trying to put together a defense in real time. They act as though each piece of information, each move they make, is a new revelation to you. They believe that the text message, the argument they've been preparing, will surprise you and catch you off guard. But you, chosen one, are proactive. Instead of waiting for a reaction, you have documented the situation with foresight. You've anticipated every possible move your opponents could make, every argument they could present, and every piece of evidence they could bring into play. Your preparation is not just about addressing the immediate, but about preparing for the entire scope of the battle. This foresight has allowed you to see patterns, understand your opponent's logic, and position yourself in a way that makes your defense unshakable. The key to your strength in this moment is not merely how well you can react, but how well you have already planned and prepared. Your proactive preparation gives you a psychological edge as it allows you to stay composed when faced with surprises. While your opponents scramble to adjust to the unexpected, you stand firm, knowing that you've already accounted for everything they're throwing your way. The text they presented, instead of being a trap for you, becomes the instrument that proves their flaws, their lack of foresight, and their inability to think several steps ahead. This is the power of pattern recognition. You didn't let yourself be caught in the rush of emotions or become overwhelmed by the immediate pressure. Instead, you approach the situation with the clarity of someone who has already seen the bigger picture, someone who has understood the underlying patterns at play. This is why your defense is not only resilient, but seemingly flawless. It's built on the foundation of thorough anticipatory preparation. Now, let's talk about the psychological impact on your opponent. Their confidence was the result of overconfidence. They believed that the battle was already won, that they had anticipated all your moves, and that you were playing catch-up. They thought that by presenting this text, they would catch you off guard, revealing a fatal flaw in your case. What they failed to realize, however, was that you had already anticipated this move. This text, which they thought would expose you, now exposes them. In that moment, the psychological shift in the opposing legal team and their client is palpable. What was once a room of confidence and assuredness quickly turns into one of confusion and doubt. They believed they had the upper hand, but now, as the text is presented and your prepared defense is revealed, they see the full scope of their miscalculation. The very thing they thought that would secure their victory has instead dismantled their entire strategy. Their confidence evaporates as they come to the sudden realization that they've been outsmarted. They thought they had an edge, but the truth is, their lack of foresight has led them into a trap. They thought they could control the narrative, but now they see that you, chosen one, have been one step ahead all along. In that moment, their psychological advantage turns into a psychological defeat. They are no longer in control of the situation. They are on the defensive, scrambling to figure out how to salvage what little ground they have left. This psychological shift is not just limited to the legal team, it extends to their client as well. The person who believed they were going to win, who thought they had you cornered, now faces the uncomfortable truth that they've underestimated you. The tension in the room rises as they realize they've been outplayed. Their overconfidence has now been replaced by doubt, and the fear of losing becomes real. What they thought was a simple victory now feels like a looming defeat. As the text settles into the room, chosen one, the shift in power is undeniable. What started as a tense, high-stakes moment of uncertainty now becomes a moment of clarity for you. Your preparation has paid off. Your calm, composed response to the unexpected text has shown everyone in the room that you are the one in control, that you have anticipated everything that has been thrown your way and more. The opponent's team, once confident, is now left scrambling to adjust to a reality they didn't expect. The power balance has shifted, and you are the one standing firm. The beauty of this moment is not just in the success of your defense, but in the strategic brilliance of your actions. You didn't react emotionally. You didn't jump to conclusions or fight back impulsively. Instead, you stayed true to your preparation, relied on your foresight, and allowed the truth of your preparation to speak for itself. In doing so, you dismantled their defense with a single, well-timed move, without ever needing to raise your voice or engage in a public confrontation. This moment demonstrates the true power of strategic preparation, the ability to anticipate, plan, and outthink your opponent. It's not the loudest voice or the most aggressive tactic that wins the battle. It's the quiet, calculated preparation that lays the groundwork for success. You've proven that foresight, not reaction, is the true key to victory. Chosen one. Today you've witnessed the power of strategic preparation. You've seen how silence, patience, and foresight can turn the tide in your favor. You didn't need to react impulsively to the pressure of the moment. Instead, you stood firm, knowing that your preparation and your understanding of the situation would ultimately lead you to victory. In the same way, as you face the battles of life, remember that your strength lies not in loud confrontation, but in quiet, consistent preparation. Keep anticipating, keep planning, and trust that your foresight will always give you the edge. Chosen one, there is a profound strength in restraint, especially when the stakes are high. In moments of intense pressure, whether it's in a courtroom, in a business negotiation, or even in personal relationships, the natural instinct is often to react quickly to defend yourself or strike back. But in these high-stakes situations, the true power lies in restraint, the ability to remain calm, collected and strategic when everything around you is chaotic, is not a sign of weakness, but of incredible strength. While the opposition is frantically building their case, reacting to every little detail with urgency and emotion, you chosen one, remain calm and composed. You know that reaction without thought leads to mistakes, and you understand that the best course of action is often to pause and assess. Instead of rushing into emotional responses, you take the time to document everything with precision, recording the facts and the sequence of events as they unfold. This is not a passive act, it is a strategic move. Your restraint in these situations leads to clear, undeniable evidence. While the opposition may be reacting impulsively, making missteps in their haste, you are building a foundation of truth and clarity. By taking the time to document the events as they happen, you are creating a record that will stand strong against any future claims, accusations, or manipulations. Your calmness gives you an incredible advantage because it allows you to think clearly, remain objective, and avoid the trap of reacting emotionally. In moments of tension, it can be difficult to resist the urge to lash out or defend yourself immediately. But restraint in the face of chaos is the mark of someone who is in control, someone who understands the value of patience and preparation. By staying calm and documenting every detail, you are ensuring that when the time comes, you will have the evidence and the clarity needed to make your case. This restraint does not leave you vulnerable. It empowers you to take control of the narrative in a way that no hasty reaction ever could. As the situation unfolds, the way you communicate becomes a critical part of the strategy. Your text, when it is finally revealed, is not emotional or desperate. In the heat of the moment, many would have been tempted to write something that reflected their frustration or fear, something that might have been reactive and impulsive. But you, chosen one, remained composed and factual. Your message was clear, concise, and to the point. No unnecessary drama, no inflammatory language, just the facts. This calmness in the face of chaos speaks volumes about your character. By communicating with integrity, you have established yourself as a reliable narrator of events. Your text is not clouded by emotion or defensive language. It is a clear reflection of the truth, free from distortion. Imagine a scenario where instead of charging into battle with loud confrontations, you hold your cards close to your chest. You understand the value of patience and preparation. And then, when the time is right, you release a simple, calculated move that shifts the entire course of the situation, much like a text message in the right moment. This message, which could have been dismissed by others as insignificant, becomes the key that dismantles your opponent's defense, turning their strategy against them. It's not about being silent for the sake of silence. It's about knowing the right moment to speak, and when to remain silent, understanding that your silence can speak louder than words. This is the quiet strength that the chosen one carries, the ability to anticipate and outmaneuver without needing to react impulsively. Let me set the stage for you, chosen one. Picture yourself in a high-stakes environment, one where the tension is thick in the air. In a world full of manipulation and gaslighting, where people often try to twist words or deny the facts, your communication stands as a beacon of honesty and transparency. Your ability to remain composed and confident during this challenging time builds a foundation that is impossible to undermine. Others may try to spin the narrative, but the clarity and integrity of your message cannot be erased. The factual nature of your communication strengthens your position, making it clear to anyone who reads it that you are the one who holds the truth. This ability to communicate with integrity also gives you credibility. In moments of conflict, when emotions are running high and everyone is trying to gain control, being the one who speaks with calmness and clarity creates an unshakable foundation. People begin to trust you, not because you are the loudest or the most dramatic, but because you are consistent, grounded, and true to the facts. You don't need to exaggerate or defend yourself. The integrity of your communication speaks for itself. This is what sets you apart, chosen one. Your calmness and factual approach establish you as the voice of reason, making any attempts to manipulate or gaslight you ineffective. Now, let's talk about the long-term impact of documenting situations with such precision. Documenting the situation ahead of time is not just about keeping receipts for the sake of having evidence later. It's about preserving truth for future reference. By taking the time to record your thoughts, actions, and the events as they happen, you are creating a strategic shield. This shield protects your integrity and credibility, making any future attacks or false narratives almost impossible to build. In many situations, people will try to distort the truth. They may deny things that happened, twist your words, or attempt to shift the blame onto you. But the text you send, documenting the events as they unfold, is an unassailable piece of truth. It serves as a record that no one can change, a clear account that cannot be disputed. In a sense, you are building a fortress of clarity that will hold strong against any external pressure or manipulation. Imagine for a moment if you had not documented the situation so thoroughly. If you had reacted impulsively or failed to preserve the facts, you would be left vulnerable to the whims of others' interpretations. Without clear documentation, it becomes easier for your opponent to twist the story or create confusion. But by documenting the situation from the very beginning, you have not only protected yourself, but also created a solid defense that is backed by the unchangeable truth. This strategy of documentation isn't just about proving a point in the moment. It's about ensuring that your truth stands firm, no matter what happens in the future. By carefully documenting every step of the process, you have created an undeniable record that can be referenced and relied upon if needed. It's like building a stronghold of truth, a place of security where you can always return to the facts, no matter how the situation evolves. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require you to fight back in the traditional sense. You don't need to argue, shout, or even engage in a battle of words. The truth once documented speaks for itself. No one can take away your integrity or alter the facts when they are clearly laid out. You've positioned yourself in such a way that any future attacks on your credibility will fail because you have already established the foundation of truth that cannot be moved. This process of documenting everything with precision also allows you to maintain control of your narrative. In situations of high tension, people will often try to take the narrative away from you, twisting it to their advantage. But your careful documentation ensures that the story stays with you. You are the one who holds the truth, and no matter how others try to manipulate the situation, the record you've created remains unbroken. Chosen one. The power of calmness and documentation cannot be overstated. In moments of high-stakes tension, where the temptation is to react, defend, or engage in confrontation, your ability to remain calm, composed, and precise is your greatest strength. While others may rush to create drama or confusion, you build clarity with each measured word. The documentation you create serves not only as a shield of truth, but as a strategic tool that secures your integrity and credibility for the future. You've shown that restraint is not weakness, but strength, and that quiet, calm preparation can outlast the loudest and most chaotic of situations. In your ability to communicate with integrity and foresight, you've positioned yourself as the one who holds the truth, making any attempts to manipulate or mislead ineffective. Your preparation builds a fortress that no one can breach, because the truth, once documented with precision, cannot be taken away. As you continue to walk in this wisdom chosen one, remember that your calmness, your strategic foresight, and your careful documentation will always be your greatest defense. Keep building that fortress of clarity and know that your integrity will continue to speak louder than any attack. The world may try to twist the narrative, but you will stand firm with the truth as your foundation unshaken by the noise around you. Chosen one. The moment the text is presented, something shifts drastically. It doesn't just counter the opposing argument, it exposes the entire strategy as predictable and rehearsed. The opposition believed they had a foolproof plan, thinking they could catch you off guard with a single piece of evidence. Instead, the text reveals that their entire approach was anticipated. You aren't just defending yourself anymore. You are actively dismantling their credibility, showing that their tactics were predictable, their defense weak, and their strategy flawed from the start. What gives you this advantage, chosen one, is your heightened awareness. By anticipating and documenting their every move you have done, more than survive, you have dominated the situation. Your awareness of their strategies and tactics exposed the cracks in their defense before they could even make their move. This foresight didn't just provide a defense, it created an unassailable foundation for truth. Your knowledge of the battle's dynamics turned your position into an offensive one, where every step they took led directly into their own trap. In the aftermath, the power dynamics shift entirely. The focus is no longer on you defending yourself, but on the opposing team, questioning their own strategy. With their tactics exposed, their credibility unravels and the courtroom atmosphere changes. The opposition now scrambles to recover, while you stand confident, knowing you've turned the tables, completely flipping the balance of power. Chosen one. As we close this chapter, let's reinforce the central message that true power lies not in aggression or impulsive reaction, but in strategic preparation and calm foresight. The world often associates strength with loud actions, bold gestures, and immediate reactions. But in reality, the highest form of power is rooted in the ability to foresee the moves of others, to prepare in advance, and to act with precision. This is what sets the chosen one apart. Your ability to anticipate, plan, and execute without resorting to aggression or defense mechanisms. Your quiet, strategic awareness is what makes you untouchable. While others may rush to react, driven by emotion or external pressure, you remain poised and grounded, knowing that your preparation has already secured your success. By documenting the situation ahead of time, by analyzing every detail with foresight, you transform potential threats into opportunities for victory. Your calmness and awareness create an insurmountable defense, leaving your opponents scrambling to catch up while you maintain control of the situation. This mastery of strategic awareness allows you to dictate the flow of events, not by reacting, but by leading with wisdom and foresight. The real power is in the quiet moments where you gather your thoughts, plan your next move, and act with precision. This is the true strength of the chosen one, the ability to move with purpose guided by divine insight, rather than simply reacting to the chaos around you. There is a profound power in truth, especially when it is documented clearly and calmly. When truth is presented with clarity and precision, it becomes irrefutable. It doesn't need to be embellished, defended, or shouted from the rooftops. The truth, when laid out plainly, exposes lies and dismantles deception. This is what makes your position so strong, chosen one. Your documentation of the situation is not just evidence, but an undeniable force that cannot be contested or ignored. The text you presented didn't need to be dramatic or emotional. It didn't need to be loud or over-explained. It was simple, clear, and factual, and in that simplicity, it held immense power. When you document the truth with integrity and calmness, it cuts through any false narrative or manipulation. Your opponents tried to deceive and distort the facts, but the truth, your truth, was already set in stone, undeniable and unwavering. Documentation is not just about keeping a record. It's about preserving truth for future reference. It's a situation where every word, every action could tilt the scales of power. You find yourself in the midst of a legal battle, a battle that is supposed to be defined by quick decisions and sharp words. The room is charged with energy, and the pressure is mounting. On one side, your opponent is confident, perhaps overconfident, thinking they have the upper hand. They're using every tactic they can think of: bold statements, aggressive strategies, and calculated confrontations. They believe that the louder they speak, the more control they have. But you, chosen one, know better. You've been preparing in silence, patiently watching, analyzing, and anticipating every move. You know that your moment will come, and you don't need to rush into the fray. Your preparation has been meticulous. Your understanding of the situation is complete, and your patience is about to pay off. The tension in the room rises as your opponent presses forward, but you remain calm. The written word, especially when it's backed by facts and clarity, becomes a powerful shield that cannot be easily broken. In the heat of a battle, truth needs no defense. It simply stands strong on its own, shining a light on the lies and deception surrounding it. And when it's documented correctly, it becomes a tool that exposes what others try to hide. The beauty of truth lies in its simplicity. It doesn't need embellishment to be powerful. When you choose to document a situation, whether it's legal, professional, or personal, you are not just keeping receipts. You are laying the foundation for truth to stand firm in the face of opposition. In moments of uncertainty or conflict, documented truth becomes your armor, protecting you from manipulation and distortion. No matter how much others try to twist the narrative, the truth laid out clearly and calmly will always prevail. Now, chosen one, take this wisdom and apply it to every aspect of your life. Adopt the mindset of foresight, preparation, and calmness in your own battles, whether they are legal, professional, or personal. The ability to remain composed, to act with strategic awareness, and to always prepare for the inevitable challenges you will face. This is what will set you apart. In a world that thrives on reaction and conflict, you are being called to a higher standard. You are not called to fight every battle with aggression or impulsivity. Instead, you are called to approach each situation with wisdom, to anticipate the moves of others, and to prepare your response in advance. Strategic thinking, grounded in integrity and truth, will allow you to navigate any challenge with confidence. When you act with foresight and calmness, you create an unshakable foundation that cannot be easily shaken by outside forces. In your personal life, in your professional endeavors, and in any legal or business battles you may face, remember that the key to victory lies in preparation, not in reaction. When you remain calm, focused, and strategic, you make yourself virtually untouchable. This quiet strength, rooted in foresight and integrity, is what gives you the edge over any challenge. You are not just reacting, you are leading the way with wisdom. Now, I invite you to reflect on your own moments of preparation and strategy, chosen one. Think back to times when you faced challenges and consider how you could have applied strategic thinking in those situations. Were there moments when you allowed emotion to guide your response, when you reacted impulsively rather than preparing thoughtfully? Think about how strategic awareness could have shifted the course of those battles. As you reflect on these moments, I encourage you to embrace the power of foresight and calmness moving forward. Don't rush into battles without first considering the situation with wisdom and clarity. Document your truths, prepare for the challenges ahead, and trust that in doing so, you will be ready for whatever comes your way. The calm, calculated approach is often the most powerful one. And if this message resonated with you, I invite you to share your experiences. How have you used strategic thinking and calmness in your own life? How has it impacted your approach to conflict? I encourage you to subscribe to this channel for more insights on the power of awareness, strategic thinking, and the quiet strength that leads to lasting success. You are ready, chosen one. With foresight, clarity, and calm, you will walk in the authority that God has given you, navigating every challenge with strategic wisdom and unshakable faith. The best is yet to come, and you are prepared for it. You haven't uttered a single word in response to their attacks, and yet the weight of your silence becomes more powerful than any argument you could have made. Everyone in the room can sense that you're not shaken by the noise. You're not intimidated by their bluster. You are waiting, gathering your strength for the right moment. Then suddenly, you take out your phone. With a quiet confidence, you send a simple text message, a message that contains everything you need to shift the balance of power in your favor. The opponent's smirk fades as they read the message. The room shifts in an instant. The balance of confidence that once rested on their side has now turned to doubt. Their strategy, which they thought was foolproof, begins to unravel before their eyes. What was once a confident, loud declaration now seems hollow. The text message you sent has exposed a gap in their defense, something they failed to anticipate. Your silence and strategic foresight have disarmed them, revealing their weaknesses and throwing them off balance. The entire atmosphere in the room changes, and you haven't even said a word in your defense. Your preparation, your foresight, and your ability to remain silent at the right moment have shifted the tides in your favor. This is the power of strategic silence, chosen one. In the quiet, you outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast. The world may be focused on loud confrontations, but you understand that true power lies in preparation, in knowing when to act and when to hold your peace. When the moment comes, you release your move with precision, and it speaks volumes. The text message you sent was more than just words. It was the culmination of your careful, calculated strategy. In that instant, the entire room shifts. Your opponent is no longer the confident figure they once were. Their power, which seemed so certain, is now in question. The dynamic has changed, and they realize, perhaps too late, that they've been outmaneuvered. What you've done is expose the flaw in their strategy, a flaw that they couldn't see because they were too wrapped up in their own noise and tactics. They underestimated the quiet strength you carried, the quiet confidence that allowed you to prepare in silence, to wait for the right moment, has now shifted the entire course of the situation in your favor. The attention that once was on their aggressive tactics now shifts to you as people begin to realize that the real power was never in the noise, but in the calm, strategic preparation you held within you. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was strength. It wasn't avoidance, it was strategic. It wasn't passivity, it was foresight. You saw the bigger picture when they were distracted by the noise, and in the right moment, you moved with precision. Your silent preparation has now dismantled their defense, leaving them scrambling for answers. Chosen one, you've learned an invaluable lesson. Silence can be a powerful weapon when used strategically. The world may shout and scramble for attention, but you understand the deeper power of quiet preparation and foresight. You've learned how to remain calm and composed, how to wait for the right moment, and how to use your strength to outmaneuver those who seek to challenge you. In moments of tension, you don't need to react. Your actions will speak louder than your words. Like the simple text message that dismantled your opponent's defense, your quiet confidence and strategic preparation will shift the balance of power in your favor. In silence, you hold more strength than the loudest confrontation could ever offer. As you continue on this journey, remember the power of silence. It's not in the absence of action, but in the strength to choose when and how to act. Trust in your ability to prepare, to anticipate, and to outthink. You carry a quiet authority that can change the course of situations without ever raising your voice. This is the strength that the chosen one carries, a strength that does not need validation from the world, but stands firm in God's wisdom, timing, and purpose. So walk forward with confidence, knowing that your silent strength will always be more powerful than the noise of the world. You are ready to outmaneuver, outlast, and outthink, because you have learned the value of quiet preparation and the strength of foresight. Trust the process, trust the silence, and trust the power that is within you. Chosen one. Imagine the scene unfolding before you. You stand in the courtroom surrounded by tension with all eyes on you and your opponent's legal team. Your opponent, confident and eager, has prepared their strategy believing they are about to land a decisive blow against your case. They have spent hours, days, and weeks preparing their arguments, certain that they've outsmarted you at every turn. As they present the evidence in the form of a text message, a seemingly innocuous document, their lawyer anticipates the shock and discomfort it will bring. This text, they believe, will tear down your defense. But as the text is read aloud in the courtroom, something unexpected happens. What was supposed to be the blow that would break you becomes the very tool that exposes their entire defense. Instead of unraveling your position, it exposes the gaps, inconsistencies, and errors in their arguments exactly as you had anticipated. Your preparation has turned the tables, and in that moment, the room falls into stunned silence. The moment when the opponent's lawyer presents the text is a pivotal one.